Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Topher Drives, where today we finally have it, a 6-speed manual equipped Mustang Dark Horse. We've driven a number of these S650 Mustangs on the channel, and in fact, the most viewed video on Topher Drives is a 10R80 equipped Dark Horse from about a year and a half ago. And ever since I filmed that, I've been wanting to get my hands on a Tremec 6-speed equipped car, and well, this morning we finally have the opportunity to test this thing out. You all are going to ride along with me on my morning commute out to TheTopher Motors to do some bring a trailer photography, and we'll evaluate the livability of this track pack or handling pack enabled Mustang S650 Dark Horse. This is actually a 2024 model year car because Ford, for some reason, still has 2-year-old cars in their press fleet. This one's done almost 13,000 miles, which is crazy for a press car. You usually never see them with over 10K. So this one has seen some things. It's currently on a track alignment because the Topher and I are taking this out to Gingerman this weekend. So we've got some pretty aggressive front camber on this car and what appears to be a fresh set of Pirelli Trofeo RS tires. As I mentioned, this does have the handling pack, so we get these special tires on this. 305/30 ZR19 on the front, and on the back, a 315/30 ZR19. So actually not a super crazy aggressive staggered setup, 305 and a 315. This should be able to take some corners with some confidence. That handling pack also gets you this different front splitter, which sits about 2 inches off the ground. So you gotta be very careful going in and out of driveways and things. I imagine some people have probably scraped this. I haven't felt underneath it, but it's a little scraped up. It's actually not too bad, better than I was expecting. And then you get this special spoiler on the back with the gurney flap invented by race car driver Dan Gurney to increase downforce. This little extra blip on the back of the spoiler, and we definitely need it. It's 49 degrees out today. I'm gonna try not to do Mustang things. I would actually like to make it to TheTopher Motors today, so hopefully we're able to accomplish that. But quickly, just to go over what's different about the Dark Horse versus the standard GT before we get on the road. This obviously has a Gen 4 Coyote, 5-liter naturally aspirated V8, but instead of the mid 480 horsepower number that you get on the GT, this makes 500 horsepower, a nice round 500. However, torque is the same as a performance exhaust equipped GT at 418 pound-feet. Ford has gone through and they've slightly tweaked this 5-liter for the Dark Horse. It's got GT 500 connecting rods, slightly different camshafts, and obviously a different tune and things, but for the most part, it's the same 5-liter that you get in the Mustang GT. The big difference here is if you get a 6-speed manual in a GT, you get the Getrag MT82, but the Dark Horse gets a Tremec 6-speed manual. So completely different transmission, can handle quite a bit more power, and I'm sure you all have seen videos of that MT82 just like exploding as people go to change gear. I've seen a number of videos on Instagram of like the transmission just like dropping out from under the car. So shouldn't have that issue with this Tremec, much, much stronger. Obviously, it's rear-wheel drive. We have a Torsen limited slip diff, and this thing weighs about 2 tons. It's like 3,900 pounds. So the Mustang's gotten big, it's gotten heavy, but you know, pony cars have always been muscular. It's still a muscle car. Thank you for that Jake brake semi-truck. Love to hear that. All right, let's quickly poke around this, and then we're gonna go for a drive and go out to TheTopher Motors. Dark Horse is a new name for the S650 generation Mustang, because I think Ford was kind of tired of like recycling all of their names from the 1960s and 70s, so they decided to do something a bit different, and I don't blame them for that. No spare underneath the trunk floor, but you do get a goop kit. We've got a sub back here for our B&O 12-speaker sound system, which we will do a test on once we're on the highway, once we're into the drive a little bit. This is finished in blue Ember, which I think is Ford's modern take on Mystic and Mystic Chrome, colors that we used to get on the Mustang Cobra in the 90s and early 2000s. This is fantastic. This is the Dark Horse spec. This is kind of the poster car that you see. We also have the indigo interior with the Recaro seats. Now, this is a premium package car, which means in the year 2025, this starts at $69,000. This one as spec'd, I built it on the configurator because the Monroney doesn't have any numbers on it. As of 2025, this car would set you back $83,000. And we'll kind of discuss the value of that once we're out on the road, but let's quickly show you this Gen 4 Coyote. I've also got the sticker pack on this car, so you've got these stripes here, Mustang Dark Horse, matte black on the hood, looks quite nice. And there you go. You've got the special branded Dark Horse strut brace, otherwise pretty basic looking 5-liter Coyote V8. I think people were doing something with these intakes, eliminating some kind of filter in there and making some extra power. So there are little cheat codes that you can do and simple things to squeeze a couple extra ponies out of this car. People in the comments will tell me exactly what that is, but I think overall the Dark Horse is the best look here on this S650 chassis. Obviously this one's similar to a performance pack equipped Mustang Mach 1. That's kind of what this replaces, most recently anyway, with the S550 generation. We've got Brembo brakes, blue calipers. All right, well, I think you guys pretty much know this car, so let's go ahead and jump in and commute it to Livonia. Special Dark Horse door sills. Here we go. 6-speed manual. It's a metal shift knob, and it's kind of like this iridescent color that matches the blue Ember exterior, which, ooh, the sun is out. You guys can see this color shift a bit better. Look at that. Got some gold in there, some orange, which makes sense. Blue Ember, the orange being like the fire. Also got the black roof on this. We'll put all the options down in the description so you guys know exactly what this car has. Since this is a manual car, no remote rev. That was a cool party piece that we played with on the automatic car, but that relies on you having remote start, and of course this car does not have that. Normal console design, we have the drift brake that we saw debut on the S650. We've got wireless CarPlay and Android Auto in this infotainment, but the thing I've noticed, this is not running on the latest software. I just drove a Mustang GT down to Louisville, Kentucky, which some of you may have seen that road trip video. That car was also a 2024 model year. It may have been a later production date, but that had the new infotainment, and it allowed me to have different gauge clusters. It ran a lot faster. This one still sucks. This is like the slowest. I mean, it takes like 3 seconds between inputs. It's unbelievable. You go to your Mustang mode here. You've got your track apps. You can see your auxiliary gauges. You can change things. Cluster theme, of course. I'm going to leave this in normal today because we used the Fox body gauge cluster in the last video, which I do love. It's my favorite, but we'll show you guys a little bit of a different view today since you know the Fox body gauge. In the newer systems, you can have a 99-01 Cobra and then a like 67 Fastback or whatever it is gauge cluster. So some cool themes if you update the car. Active exhaust, we've got quiet, normal, sport, and track. We'll start today in normal. I have my customizable buttons set to put this thing into track mode on the fly. So if we see any tunnels or bridges or anything, we can just go ahead and do that very quickly. Otherwise, you guys know this infotainment. You know how I feel about it. We have a heated steering wheel in this car. Let's go back to Apple CarPlay. We're going to run Waze for today's trip. And maybe we'll even reset our fuel economy and see how we do today. Why not? All right. Goal was to beat a Vintique by 10. Let's see if we can get there in time. Some sticky tire ASMR for you all. We're gonna angle out of this speed bump here because this is like one of the only cars I've driven that I don't think is gonna clear this. There we go. We're good. Very heavy controls in this car, and we found this with the automatic equipped Dark Horse, but now that we've got this 6-speed manual, it adds to the heaviness. I do love this shifter though. It's a nice heavy ka-thunk when you're going into gear. Very, very satisfying to use. I'm gonna put my steering into comfort, lighten that up a bit. Already feeling the lack of grip from these Trofeo RS tires. Try and get some heat into them so we can actually show you guys straight line performance on this. But as I said, it's 49 degrees out. I don't want to smash up Ford's car or die or kill somebody else. So we're going to try and be responsible here today. easy to shift this car fast. We do have an auto blip system in here. This car also has no lift shift. Okay, let's just go ahead and deploy the track exhaust. Think we have some heat in these tires. We're gonna tread lightly though. Ha, get it, tread. Haha. It's pretty fast. Pretty long gears, and then sixth is basically an overdrive. At highway speeds, it goes from 3,000 RPM to like 1,800. No lift shift, no cool like adjusted timing noises like you get on a GM. But the no lift shift works well. You can confidently shift this car. And this isn't really a car that you have to be delicate with. You can kind of just manhandle this, slam gears. It's a muscle car. It wants to be treated like one. Yes. Okay, let's do one more loop and then we'll get it on the highway and actually commute it. We're doing 7.2 mpg, proper stuff. So quick. So quick. All right. You guys good? You satisfied? I never will, because I could just do this loop 100 times over and over. And luckily we are taking this to the track, so I will be able to have some fun with this car. But all right, let's actually evaluate what this is like to live with now. Let's get this back out onto the road, onto the highway rather. We'll leave the exhaust in track just for a minute. Sixth. Even when the exhaust is in track, it doesn't really drone too bad because this is revved so low. And Mustangs have kind of always been like this Tremec transmission. I drove a Mustang Mach 1 a few years ago, and it was exactly the same because this is the same transmission that the Mach 1 had. We're going to do some important work real quick before we get onto the highway. Nobody behind us? All right, let's let it sing. Oh, I am a child. I love a car that makes me feel like a kid, though. All right, let's kill the track exhaust. Back into normal. We'll show you quiet mode, too, and let you experience that difference. I'll get this merged on real quick. Galloping horse turn signal noise. Typical Mustang stuff, and I feel like the only car that actually deserves to have the. So you guys are actually going to get another video on this 6-speed Dark Horse because Emily and I are road tripping this out to the track together, or more of a day trip, kind of like you saw with the Corvette. But we'll be able to really evaluate kind of long-term sitting in this on the highway. Today we're only going to be sitting in it for about 20 minutes on the highway, so nothing too crazy. But what I want to say right off the bat is that I'm pleasantly surprised by this car. Now, it's not the most comfortable thing in the world, but here's what I want to say, okay? Ford Performance has been known sometimes for over-damping cars. Ford Focus RS, for example. You guys saw me take a Ford Focus RS on this section of highway, and I was nearly bouncing out of the seat, almost hitting the head. Well, this Dark Horse is equipped with Ford's MagneRide damping system, and they're in their softest setting right now, and I'm not bouncing at all. It's soaking things up fantastically. And the Mustang GT that we took down to Kentucky also had a version of these dampers. I don't know if it's the same exact ones from GT to Dark Horse. I'm sure they're slightly different, or tuned slightly differently anyway. And those were an absolute treat. Those made the trip for me. Obviously, we have some noise from these Pirelli tires because they're essentially track tires with like no tread on them whatsoever, just the bare minimum to make them road legal. Man, I'll tell you what, I think this will actually be okay to take out to the track and do some long distance driving a couple of days from now. Got some officers of the law up here. Let's put our exhaust into quiet mode. Tones things down just a bit. Also, this Recaro seat is fantastic. Same seat that you get in the regular GT if you spec Recaros on the car. Something I wish came standard in the Dark Horse. I think it's kind of silly to have to pay extra for a performance seat in the top trim car. It should just come in it. But you got to pay like $2,000 if you want these Recaro seats. Bottom of the seat is not super aggressively bolstered, which I do really like for driving on the highway. I don't love it for performance driving because your legs are kind of just all over the place and they can roam around this driver's compartment. I would like to see something maybe more like the BMW M cars that have the super aggressive leg bolsters, but then at the same time I don't love those for the highway. So maybe we need some sort of adjustment where you can kind of move those in and out, or up and down rather. But as far as comfort goes, this Recaro is great. I sat in this seat for like 16 hours or something insane in that Mustang GT, and I was fine. There's no lumbar adjuster or anything with this seat, but they've got this just like configured so well that you really don't even need it. It's very supportive. It's pretty plush. It's a big seat. It's huge. So all sizes of human can fit in this with no problem. Overall NVH, you've got a little bit of wind noise, but not too bad. This car is pretty slippery, and we've got all the downforce going for us thanks to Dan Gurney. A couple of rattles, I think, just on the rear deck. I'm not hearing them right now, but at lower speeds over our pothole-ridden roads here in Michigan, you do have a couple of rattles that come out. And also, consider, guys, that this is a super early car. This is car number 30. So it's a very early one off the line. Early rendition of S650. They were still kind of working bugs out. Obviously, this infotainment is not what you would get in a brand new 2025. It works a lot faster. I don't love some of the materials that they chose to use. I think this like faux carbon fiber stuff they have on the steering wheel and the dashboard, it kind of just looks 3D printed. Like it looks like you could just pay a 12-year-old $50 and they could like print you a whole new set of interior trim. So I don't love that. Give these guys some distance for our exit ramp here. Whenever I have a minivan or an SUV, I get this whole ramp open, but when I have a car like this, there's traffic. Brakes feel great. We're gonna roll off of this here. 55 is like nothing for this car. It's laughing at me. Makes a statement, lets you know it's coming. And into overdrive. Back into quiet exhaust. I do love that you have this little quick access button. You can actually program this to be a number of things. You can do exhaust mode, you can turn on and off your rev matching, which I like. Physical volume knob down here. We have a physical, or two physical buttons here for volume on the steering wheel. So actually lots of good physical access in here still, even though the climate control is in the infotainment. That's the only thing that you lose physicality of. We put 66 miles on this car this week between the Topher and I, and we've burned half a tank of fuel. This showed up with a full tank, so she's thirsty, you know, but that's fine. No one's worried about gas mileage in a top trim, performance-oriented Ford Mustang. That's just not how the world works. But I just figured for shits and gigs today, we'd see what kind of fuel economy we got. We're actually getting 13, so better than the average before I reset it, which I think was 11. Why don't we do a sound system test here on this 12-speaker B&O? Everything's centered. So I'm going to reference my Mustang GT road trip again because why not? The Mustang is fresh on my brain. Okay, so that car actually only had the 8-speaker bass, so I think it was 8 speakers, bass sound system. And it was pretty dang good. Honestly, I was impressed as far as bass sound systems go. It was nice. The B&O steps it up a notch, but really it's not that much better than the bass sound system. I think you just get, what I would say is that you get a little bit more power, a little bit more clarity, but it's not like crazy different. I'm sure you guys have noticed I'm doing a lot of steering because the car's tramlining all over the place with these 305 section front tires. On this particular like material that they make highway out of, like this concrete highway with the ridges in it, the car is just all over the place. I mean, it's really not the car's fault because it's set up for the track. So you just have to make sure you are in a mood to do lots of steering to keep the car in a straight line. All right, we're actually gonna jump off here and our little highway section a bit early, just so we can give you guys some like street driving impressions that aren't the highway. If you turn rev matching off, this is still pretty easy to rev match. I do always like to benchmark these auto rev matching systems though, because they are not all created equal. This one's pretty good. I have read some reviews that it sometimes gives up on track, so we'll have to see if we have that problem. Let's see. Let's turn rev match off. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward to just do it yourself. We'll leave it off for the rest of the video. This car definitely makes you feel like a hero. You feel like Steve McQueen in this car. And Mustangs do such a good job at that. Just always making you feel cool, making you feel like a hero. All right, I'm gonna make a bit of a comparison that is gonna kind of sound like it's out of left field a bit, but bear with me here, okay? I was just in Tybee Island, Georgia, driving the new Mini Cooper. And Mini is another brand that has some very rich heritage. They have things that they're known for, and they like to display that through their cars. They have a go-kart mode in the infotainment. They pipe in pops and burbles to the interior that are completely fake. And they have lots of different, like, drive modes and fun things, experiences they call it in the infotainment. And I understand the idea behind it, but I think the execution was wrong. I think they tried a little bit too hard to make that car artificially fun. What Ford does so well with the Mustang is they keep things real. Everything in here is real, and the feeling you get while driving it is real, and Ford does not overdo it. They keep it very simple and just unapologetically Mustang. Like, there's nothing in here that I'm like shaking my head at saying, oh, they went too far with that. Nothing's overdone. For this new generation in 2024, yeah, sure, they got rid of physical climate controls, but they haven't moved too far into the future in any other direction, and I really, really do appreciate that. Clutch is pretty heavy, but it's easy to use. I mean, I would like to, well, I wouldn't like to, but it would be interesting to sit in traffic in this car for like an hour and see how your left leg felt. Fuel economy is being diminished now everywhere. So here's the thing, right? Michigan's got 2 seasons, winter and construction. So as soon as the last frost is done, so usually early May, all of the roads close. So you can enjoy the roads in your daily driver in the winter, and then you get your fun car out like Dark Horse, and then you have to go through stupid stuff like this. Entrance ramps are closed. I mean, it looks like something exploded up there. Like, what is going on? It's like a pile like 40 feet tall of like rubble. Very bumpy section. This also has that weird squeaky seatbelt issue that every S650 I've driven has had. You guys hear that? I'm sure you do. In your left ear if you're wearing headphones. Oh dear. Police mode enabled. Alrighty guys, well let's go ahead and wrap this one up. We've only got 4 minutes left of our commute this morning, and I feel like I've probably communicated everything that there is to communicate about this Dark Horse, but to sum it up, I would say that even this top trim model, the hottest Mustang you can get right now, is still livable. It hasn't beaten me up this morning. We've taken it through all of the elements, the high performance course, the highway, and construction, which are all of the things that Michigan has, and it's done all of them with no problem. And the seat's comfortable, the dampers do a great job. You can shut the exhaust up if you don't want to hear it. Infotainment is too slow, but there's an update to fix that, so that doesn't even matter. It's specific to just this car. Cars that make you feel like a 12-year-old. Mustang is pretty high on that list. I guess we should talk about value over the GT, being that this is in all forms about $18,000 more expensive. And considering that it only makes like, what, 14 more horsepower than a Performance Pack GT, it's a little bit hard to swallow. Now, obviously, some of that is Ford just charging whatever they want for cars, because they do that. But also, I think they're trying to make this name iconic, because as we know, this is brand new for the S650, and they want to add some value to the Dark Horse name. All of the value doesn't lie exclusively in the name, but between like the slightly tweaked 5-liter engine that's mostly the same, and the different suspension, wheels, tires, different trimmings here and there, I don't know if it's worth the 18 grand. I loved that Mustang GT that we took down to Kentucky, and I mean, that does most of what this does. I haven't driven the MT82 equipped car, and I think that's where your real value is with the Dark Horse, is with this Tremec 6-speed. But if you're going to get an automatic, I think that kind of kills the appeal of the Dark Horse. So if you want to get a manual, get a Dark Horse. If you're going to order an automatic, I think you'll be fine just getting a GT, kind of using that 18 grand to like upgrade it yourself, do some things that you want to do to it, and probably still come out ahead. You have a faster car, but it's worth it to not have the Getrag, because I don't think that's a very good gearbox. Now, save yourself that headache. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is the Dark Horse worth it? What's your favorite trim of the new Mustang? How would you spec your new Mustang? Let me know all of those things. And I hope you enjoyed watching another take here in the Mustang Dark Horse. We're going to angle this up into Adam's driveway. Try not to scrape. See if we can summon him. All right, let's back this in over here. Turning circle's not very good. Big old wide 305 section front tires don't help the cause, of course. All right, parking brake on. Let's shut this thing off, give you guys one last look at it, and that will wrap it up for us today. I'm gonna go do some bring a trailer photography, and I'm already excited for my commute home in this thing. But all right, cool. Well, thank you guys again so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about the Dark Horse. Hopefully we'll be able to get into a 2025 or a 2026 model soon and see some of the tweaks that they've made to it. But as for now, we're still living in 2024, I suppose. And that'll wrap it up. Thank you again so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.